Okay, just for a second, picture this. You're a German soldier on the Eastern Front, in the dead of night. It is brutally cold, you're beyond exhausted, and then you hear it. This soft, almost ghostly whooshing sound from up in the clouds. It sounds kind of like a broom sweeping across the sky. You can't see a thing, but you know exactly what's coming next.
So what was that sound? What was this invisible terror that was just haunting the front lines night after night? It was a weapon so unbelievably effective, yet so primitive, that it seemed to break all the rules of modern war.
The Germans, well, they came up with a name for it. A name born out of that creepy sound. Nachthexen, which in English means night witches. And yeah, it was meant to be an insult, right? A way to dismiss them. But that name, it backfired. It became a badge of honor. So let's pull back the curtain and find out who these witches really were.
All right, so who were these figures that seemed like they were ripped right out of a fairy tale to haunt the German army? Well, the truth? The truth is even more incredible than the legend.
Get this. They were the 588th Night Bomber Regiment. And this is what's so wild. It was an all-female unit. I'm talking pilots, navigators, mechanics, the whole crew. And many of them were just volunteers, some as young as 17. Can you even imagine? Teenagers, basically, all fired up to defend their country. Now, their main job wasn't about blowing up entire cities or taking out huge targets. Nope, they were experts in something called harassment bombing, and the name says it all. The goal was purely psychological. Think about it, flying mission after mission all night long, just dropping little bombs here and there. Not to cause massive damage, but to make sure you never ever get a good night's sleep, to keep you constantly on edge, totally demoralized. They were literally fighting a war against the enemy's sanity. So you gotta be asking, how did a unit like this even get started? I mean, an all-female bomber regiment in the 1940s? This wasn't some forward-thinking social experiment. No, this was born out of pure, absolute desperation. Okay, let's go back to 1941. That's the year Hitler unleashes Operation Barbarossa. It's this massive, shocking invasion, and it catches the Soviet Union completely flat-footed. The attack is just devastating. It wipes out a massive chunk of the Soviet Air Force before the planes can even get off the ground. The whole country was teetering on the edge of total collapse.
But right in the middle of all that chaos, one woman steps up, Marina Raskova. You have to understand, she was a huge deal. A famous aviator, a national hero. They called her the Russian Amelia Earhart. And crucially, she had Stalin's ear. She went straight to the top and made her case. She told him, look, women aren't just capable of flying in combat. They're a resource we're not using, and we desperately need them. And he listened. He gave the green light for not one, but 3 all-female air regiments. But, getting the official okay is one thing. Earning respect from the guys on the ground, that's a whole different battle. These women faced just unbelievable challenges, and not just from the enemy. They were handed men's uniforms that didn't fit, boots so big they had to stuff them with scraps of bedding just so they wouldn't fall off. And on top of that, they dealt with constant jokes and misogyny from male soldiers who just saw them as little girls playing dress-up. And the problems didn't just stop on the ground. Oh no, the plans they were given to fly, well, outdated doesn't even begin to cover it. They were basically flying coffins. Just look at this comparison, it's insane. On one side, you've got their plane, the Polikarpov Po-2. It's a biplane made of wooden fabric. It's literally a 1920s crop duster design. And on the other side, the German Messerschmitt Bf-109, a high-tech, all-metal killing machine. The Po-2 had an open cockpit, so these women were flying through freezing Russian nights, totally exposed to the elements. And here's the craziest part. Its top speed was so slow. It was actually slower than the stall speed of the German fighters, meaning the German planes couldn't slow down enough to even shoot at them properly. It was a weakness that they were about to turn into a superpower. I mean, the list of problems with this plane is just terrifying. 0 armor, no radio to talk to anyone. It could only carry 2, maybe 3 small bombs, and because it's made of wood and canvas, it was basically a tinderbox. One stray bullet and the whole thing would go up in flames. Oh, and to top it all off, to save weight, they didn't even have parachutes for the first couple years of the war. Think about that. Every single mission was a coin toss with death. So, what do?
You're handed this slow, flimsy, ancient crop duster and told to fight one of the most advanced air forces in the world. How do you possibly survive, let alone become feared? Well, you don't fight fair. You get clever. And you get very, very quiet.
And that led to their legendary attack strategy. It was genius. They'd fly in groups of 3. The first 2 planes would go in loud, acting as decoys, making sure all the searchlights and anti-aircraft guns were pointed at them. But while the Germans were distracted, the 3rd plane, the attack plane, would get close to the target and then kill its engine. Completely. It would just glide in silently. And that was the sound. That creepy whoosh of wind through the wires. The broomstick. They'd drop their bombs, fire the engine back up, and just disappear into the chaos they'd created.
And they were absolutely relentless. This chart just shows a few of their campaigns, but look at those numbers. In the Crimean Offensive alone, they flew over 6,000 missions. And remember, their planes could only carry a couple of bombs at a time. That meant pilots were often flying 8, sometimes 10 or more missions any single night.
And the grand total? It's just mind-blowing. From 1942 to the end of the war, this one regiment, this one all-female regiment, flew almost 24,000 combat missions.
And all those little bombs? Well, they added up. All told, they dropped over 3,000 tons of explosives on the enemy, 2 bombs at a time.
And you better believe their bravery was noticed. 23 of these women were awarded the title Hero of the Soviet Union. Now, you have to understand, this is the highest possible honor for courage. 23 of them. That made their unit one of the most decorated in the entire Soviet Air Force. Period. Male or female, it didn't matter.
So, the war finally ends. The Night Witches go home, decorated heroes. But then, something strange happens. Their story just kind of fades away. Which begs the question, why isn't this incredible story in every history book?
This timeline really shows you how fast it all happened. They were created out of desperation in 41, became legends, and then, as soon as the war was over in 45, the regiment was just disbanded. The women were told, thanks for your service, now go back home, get married, raise a family, and just like that, their official story pretty much ended. And for decades after that, the Night Witches were basically a historical footnote. Their amazing achievements were totally overshadowed in the official histories, which, tended to focus on the male soldiers. It really wasn't until fairly recently, in the 2010s, that new books and articles brought their story back into the light for a whole new generation.
The story of the Night Witches is just such a powerful reminder of what people are capable of, even when the odds are stacked impossibly high against them. And it really makes you think, doesn't it? If a story this incredible could be forgotten for so long, how many other stories of courage are still out there, just waiting for someone to find them?